Welcome to The Explainer. So today we're going to dive into two sources of wisdom that, on the surface, couldn't be more different. We're talking about sacred texts that are thousands of years old and a series of channeled conversations from the 1980s. And we're going to see if, maybe, just maybe, they're telling us the exact same story.
I mean, really think about that for a second. What if these two things, separated by thousands of years, different cultures and completely different ways of being delivered, what if they're both pointing to the same fundamental truths? Truths about our reality, about who we are, and what we're all doing here. That's the big question we're going to unpack.
Okay, so on one side, you've got the Vedas and the Upanishads. This is the bedrock of Hindu philosophy, just brimming with hymns, deep metaphysical questions, and rituals. And on the other side, the raw contact. Basically, it's a transcript of conversations with a non-human intelligence that calls itself a social memory complex. One is ancient, sacred tradition. The other is, modern esoteric stuff. But you're about to see just how astonishing the parallels really are.
So let's start with the biggest question of them all, right? What is the source of, everything? Where does all of this reality we're experiencing actually come from?
The Upanishads have an answer. They talk about a single, ultimate reality they call Brahman. Now, this isn't some guy on a cloud. It's described as infinite, unborn, the very substance of the whole cosmos. Think of it as the fabric of existence itself. Everything comes from it, and everything eventually goes back to it.
Okay, now listen to this. The raid contact comes along thousands of years later and says almost the exact same thing. It talks about a one infinite creator and describes all of existence, you, me, the stars, everything, as a direct expression of this one single source. It's like the universe is just the creator exploring itself.
So let's put them side by side. You've got Brahman, this infinite, unchanging reality that everything is made of. And then you've got the one infinite creator, the one source where all life comes from. I mean, we're talking about two different names from two totally different sources, describing what is, for all intents and purposes, the exact same concept, a single, unified origin for everything.
Okay, so if the whole universe is this one big conscious thing, that leads us right to the next logical question. What about us? Who are we as individuals inside of it all?
Upanishads have a concept for this called Atman. The Atman is your individual self, that little spark of consciousness deep inside you. But here's the absolute game changer. The texts say that your individual self, your Atman, is exactly the same as the universal self, Brahman. It's the whole point of the famous saying, "Thou art that." You are it.
Now, to help explain this, they describe the self as being wrapped in different layers, or sheets, what they call koshas. It starts with the most obvious one, the physical body. Then you go a layer deeper to the life force, the energy, the breath, and then deeper still to the mental layer of your thoughts and your emotions. It's a beautiful model of a being with multiple layers.
And this is where it gets spooky. In an incredible parallel, the raw contact describes a person not as one thing, but as a mind/body/spirit complex. It's a vehicle for our consciousness, made up of these interconnected fields of energy, the physical body, the mind, and the spirit. The structural similarity to the Hindu idea of sheaths, it's just undeniable.
Okay, so if we are this divine spark riding around in this layered vehicle, what are we supposed to do? How do we evolve? How do we grow? Well, it turns out both sources describe a fundamental choice between two very different ways to live.
In the Hindu scriptures, you can see a clear split. The older texts, the Vedas, really emphasize the path of karma, doing things, external actions, rituals, sacrifices, all to get good results and please the gods. But then, the later texts, the Upanishads, they start to emphasize the path of jnana, internal knowledge, the direct, personal, meditative realization that you are one with the ultimate reality.
And the Upanishads don't pull any punches about which path they think is better. Look at this quote. It says that people who just rely on rituals without the wisdom of self-realization are like the blind led by the blind. Ouch. It's a path that might get you some good stuff, but it's not going to get you ultimate freedom.
Now, the right contact frames this choice in a different way, but the dynamic is so similar. It talks about polarization. You have to choose. You can go down the path of service to others, which is all about seeing the Creator in everyone and acting with love and compassion. Or you can choose service to self, which is about separation, control, and getting what you want no matter the cost to others. It's a fundamental choice that defines your spiritual direction.
So what's the end game here? Where does this journey of seeking and learning and choosing actually lead? What's the final goal?
In Hinduism, the ultimate prize is called moksha. This is liberation, freedom from samsara, that endless cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. It's the final moment when the individual self, the Atman, merges back into the cosmic source, Brahman. It's the drop of water finally returning to the ocean.
And wouldn't you know it, the rock contact calls this same kind of end goal the harvest. It's described as a point in time at the end of a huge cycle of experience, like right now apparently, where souls can literally graduate to the next level, or density of consciousness. It's a jump to a higher state of being, but it's only available if you've really committed to one path or the other.
And this is where things get really wild. The raw contact, which was recorded back in the early 80s, claimed that our planet is in this transitional window right now, and it gave a time frame, an estimate for this whole planetary graduation process, somewhere between 100 and 700 years. Now that is a bold and very specific prediction that takes this abstract spiritual idea and makes it feel like a very real and very imminent event for all of us.
All right, so this brings us to our final big question. We've seen these incredible parallels in how they describe reality, the self, the spiritual path, and even the final goal. So, what do we do with all this?
Seriously, could it be that these two sources, which are so profoundly different and separated by thousands of years, are both tapping into the very same underlying truth about our universe? Are these just really interesting coincidences? Or are we hearing echoes of a single, timeless reality just being whispered in different ways for different times? That's the question I'll leave you with.